Okay, so I took the bolt out. I'm going to tilt it forward. Stick the bolt back in. Well, I'll just leave it out for now. But when I go to fold it and I'm going to store it, then I'll put the bolt back into the angle iron that I have sitting down here. So, yep. Here we go. So you can see what I used here. I just welded a bunch of little pieces together so that the motor would mount on. This is the little wrap around that I've used for the motor. Oh God, man, I can never get the right type of lighting in this place, I tell you. And you can see how I did this piece here. How I set that up is I put this piece on there, welded right here, and underneath to get this piece on. I had the holes drilled prior to that, stuck the angle iron on, put the bolt on, and then brought the whole little assembly down where it would connect, and then I just grabbed my welder and just welded both sides of the angle iron. So the angle iron is positioned exactly where it needs to be, and the bolt is straight through the holes because I did it that way. So you can see here how the bracket is made. It comes up, it's up a certain distance, and then I have a washer. I have a 3/4 inch bolt going straight through, and then I have this other piece right here that's bracketed, that's welded right onto this secondary bar. So when I go to rotate it, when I go to pick the thing up, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know how well, I don't know if I can get this, but the whole motor will rotate like that. Hold it in place. See how the motor rotates right around its pivot? Now I don't want to turn it all the way sideways because then I'll have gas coming out of the motor, out of the top here. So when I'm done with it and I want to fold it all up, I'll just simply take out these pins. Take out these pins right here. These are quick release pins right out of the shock, or not shock. They look like shock, but technically they're just a spring with fancy insides to it. And I'll just slide that right out, grab this bar right here, and this goes all the way down and is welded right to the motor mount there. And you can see how it works. So the whole motor rotates right around its center. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, and I just the brake is just a standard. It's just a standard little simple mechanical brake. I've got it wired up. I had to build a little bracket off to the side of the thing, off to the side. As you can see how this is set up. Man, I just never have the right light. But you can see how that is. And I put the brake directly right onto the sprocket, as you can see. It's an idea I came across on a picture of a mini bike. And it was an old picture, probably from the 60s. So that's what I did there. I decided to use the actual sprocket as a brake. And yep, so that's what I did. That's how I did this. I actually added the handle on later, and I'll show you how this all works. Okay, so what I've done is I've already turned around the front support. I've already taken the pins out of the shocks or the springs, and this is how this works. Grab it, and grab the handle, and grab the back support. Keep the motor level. And you walk it right up like that. Put the pins wherever. And then you can take your bolt and stick your bolt back in, so that way you don't lose that. Put some bungee cord around it, so that way the kids ain't, well, I'll be doing that, so that way the kids ain't grabbing onto it and pulling the motor down. And that's how it works. Alright, so this is where I'm at right now. The whole design of the rear end here is all primarily based off of the size of the motor. The plans will have two rear ends in it. It will have just the regular basic framed rear end, and it'll be up to you to decide how you want, what type of motor you want to put on it. It will also have the rear end of this, which will be, all the dimensions will be according to this motor. And this motor is a little 2.5 horsepower from Harbor Freight. You can go to harborfreight.com, I think, and type in engine, and it'll bring you to their page that has a bunch of engines on it. So, and this is on there. It's about $100, something like that. Shipping's about 20, 30 bucks, something like that. So, but I know that when I built this, I measured out from the side of the motor out 1 inch, and then from the clutch assembled onto the side of the motor with the bolt in it. So it's all set up, and then measured out from that point out 1 inch, because the distance between the bolt on the clutch that holds the clutch on and the distance of this bolt here is going to be roughly about a ½ inch, and that you need that ½ inch to be able to put your chain on, unless you want to try fidgeting with the damn master link to always try to put your damn chain on. I don't like dealing with that, so I just put the chain on and roll it, and it snaps right on. That's the way I put the chains on. So plus the thickness of the bolt that you use, that will be also in the plans, and this is a 3/4 inch bolt. It's about 2 inches, I think, 2 inches long, something like that, and it's got a little nylon lock nut on there. And so this whole bracket right here that's underneath the motor, other than the mount here, this bracket is the width of the motor plus 1 inch on one side and 1 inch on the other side. Then I had I put the side rails on, the side flanges or whatever you want to call it, put the sides on, and then did the other sides here. In between I have a 1/8 inch washer, and got a little bit of oil in there too, so that way it's not grinding when I go to rotate it up. It moves nice and smooth. So this whole setup is based upon the width of the motor itself. So in the event that you want to put on like a 6 horsepower motor or something like that, you'll have to measure out with it assembled with your clutch on it or whatever you want to put on it. But if it's wider this way, then everything else will be wider too, including your these bars here, these two here that go side by side. Now they're already pretty dang close to this, so you have to make sure you pay attention to that if you want to put a larger motor on it. Because I don't think that would work. I don't think this setup would work for a 6.5, because a 6.5 horsepower is wider than this. So eventually I'll probably put more power on this thing by taking off the jack shaft, bringing it down, and putting a larger sprocket up here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The whole cart costed me about $612, excluding the seat. The seat was about $30. Some of the stuff I had left over, like these, like the pivots here, that stuff came off the material that I used on the Batmobile T-Cart for the suspension on there, and for the front arms. And other than that, yeah, I mean, that's $612, which includes shipping also. So knocking all the shipping off on all the tires and the chain and motor, and knock all the shipping off, you're looking at, I don't know, maybe $450, something like that the whole thing cost me, and tack on an extra 100 or 150 for all the shipping that I paid for on all this stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a fun little